I have a couple questions for these guys, and I will see if they can answer them. This one might be a tough one, and actually we just touched on this. You talked about Tim Thomas, Chris, potentially joining the Oilers or whoever team. Safe to say he might not join Boston, but hey, I think Boston's crazy enough to pick him again. I do want to say this, guys. Would you rather have Tim Thomas or Rick DiPietro? Out of those two guys, I know that's a tough one.
None of the above.
Yeah. That's not an option. You had to pick one of those guys.
As much as I dislike him, I'd say Thomas, just because, I mean,
he's proven.
Yeah, he's proven. He'll play maybe 1 year, whereas Rick DiPietro will be on your books for 10 years. I mean, well, I guess he's bought out.
He's bought out,
so, yeah.
so you could sign him at $1 million per.
No, still definitely Thomas.
Yeah, I go Thomas too, just because he's the least of the annoying thing that you may be dealing with.
Hey, I do want to ask you this one. This might be tough for you, Greg, not so much for you, Chris, but you had two teams, the Islanders and Leafs, very young, very skilled, both making the postseason and doing well, considering. Which up-and-coming team would you rather play for, Toronto or the New York Islanders?
Oh. I don't need to answer that one, really.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say.
As much as it hurts me to say this, I would have to say Toronto. The Islanders, I'm not a fan of the organization. Toronto, growing up in Western Canada, and back during the days where you didn't have the Flames and the Jets and the Oilers, you got Toronto pretty well every Saturday night, whether you liked it or not. So I'll pick Toronto.
Yeah, they had some great.
I was a Dave Keon fan back in the day.
They had some great Saskatchewan boys on that team too. Of course, Wendell Clark being another.
If we're talking cities too, I mean, I think I'm probably going to want to go play for Toronto, but I guess
over Long Island. Well, they're moving to Brooklyn, so
Brooklyn. We're talking Brooklyn though.
Yeah.
I go to Toronto.
Well, it's like if you play for the Yankees, you're in the Bronx, so tough luck. Hey, I want to say thanks a lot for this, guys. We'll be back. Greg, you'll have a chance to sound off, but first, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be back in 2 minutes.